So we're getting started here. Ricky pulls his first event. Do you know that one, right, Phil? Which event that is?
Oh yeah, that's the one where each player chooses a character, and that character cannot basically be in the battle in any way, right, Joe? Can't attack, can't block, can't play specials. I don't. I just
I
think they're
believe
basically
so.
not there.
All right. The text on that is choose one frontline hero that cannot play any cards or be attacked this battle. So yeah, it essentially takes him out of the fight. Now, of course, Ricky's going to choose the X Babies. That's his plan. So he is routing Marcel through every one of those avoids. And this is the big rematch. These guys played on camera in an earlier round. So Marcel has the knowledge of what the deck does. And if you remember right, Marcel barely pulled out the win against this deck. Um, it came down to the last card in a hand where Marcel drew three cards. So, Marcel probably, I mean, you're not going to get an easy match in the top eight, but I think Marcel felt pretty lucky to pull that last win out.
Yeah, I think he was really surprised how close that game was. I think he felt like he was very far ahead and just squeaked it out barely.
So Stars and Garters goes down. Always great card to get early. Ricky does have his Confusion, which is what you really want to see if you're doing anti teamwork. I don't remember if he is doing anti teamwork though. He's definitely playing the anti teamwork set, but it looks like he's more trying to use the two cards that steer people into the avoids.
I don't really remember him playing a team. Do you?
I can't remember one way or another.
I guess we'll just have to watch and see if he puts any in play here. Looks like Marcel's starts maybe a little slow. I don't know. Nobody's got too incredible of a first hand. So it looks like Marcel had a duplicate 7 power card. Is that?
Yep. And interestingly enough, he wanted to make sure he could follow that teamwork up. So I would guess he doesn't have. My guess would be he doesn't have another card to follow up that teamwork. I can't see him getting rid of a seven with a color if he did.
So this is really where Ricky's -1/+1 to venture home base there shines, because in this early hand, when they could easily just exchange these few hits, that 1 point of venture could make all the difference.
This is also where Marcel being the top seed comes into play because he's going to get to go first. He could put that Stars and Garters out before Ricky could try to sneak through a big hit like an 8 that maybe he doesn't have the ability to block.
Yeah, I think it's really important to get to go first. And again, that is another one of the reasons why it's important to fight as hard as you can to win even those last games in Swiss, even once you know you're going to be in the top 8.
Absolutely. This is an interesting position, too. So Marcel looks like he only went one. Ricky only goes two, and I feel like he's really, when he's got that event and he's got well, it looks like he's only got it one more avoid. So interesting. I don't know. I might have given Marcel the card there, and really tried to push through and see if I could get some damage and maybe really make Beast pay.
So
But
Marcel is going ahead and using his initiative to get that extra defense out there. Um, yeah, he really wants to be able to stop any of those big hits from Ricky. I mean, either of those hits would be catastrophic for the venture right there.
yeah, and I totally agree with that play. I think putting the Stars and Garters out first is you just have to do it.
Especially with that confusion on the table, you just know your teamwork's not going to cause any trouble. So Ricky's starting off with a level 7 attack from the X Babies. I guess it's coming through Beyonder since X Babies are off, but that's another hit that would be quite a bit of venture.
Yeah, it's interesting to see him kind of fire that off as an offensive move right off the bat. I think it's a great play. I feel like I would wait and see who he was going to attack first and possibly keep it as a defense for Beyonder. But it also puts Marcel into tough decisions right away. He knows he doesn't have a 7 power card for Beast, so he's going to have to use some kind of special defense or one of his universe cards in order to be able to defend it. So I do really like that play.
I think Marcel might be seriously thinking about just taking that and then conceding. Um, but we'll see. Ricky's hand's pretty decent. He's got a negate. He's got another avoid. If Marcel throws that teamwork, he knows it's getting confused. And then I think Ricky also has one activator. Not sure what it is. It could be a storm neutralize. Is that a possible option?
I think it's the Enforcers.
Oh, okay.
No, wait. What am I talking about? That's the sewer. Morlock tunnels. So it's definitely not that.
It is storm neutralize. So that card can actually get quite a different number of things. What does the Morlock's tunnels have? Let's see.
It's Sinister, Marauders, Dark Beast, Storm, Morlocks. Yeah, oh, I almost have it. Who's the last? Angel.
And so storm neutralize can use.
She can use either the Morlock specials or Storm specials. And then what he can do is if he uses her, he can get out Caliban on the same turn, which allows him to then go get any activator he wants. So that Storm one early in the game can represent any activator he needs in any situation.
Yeah, that's an extremely powerful card, Caliban. I'm surprised we haven't seen more people try to play him from reserve, because you can play Caliban from reserve, yes?
I don't know, but I'm gonna look that up because that's a really interesting idea.
Is that possible, or am I just making that up? Guess we'll see. Joe's gonna look it up for us, everybody. But yeah, the Caliban is actually kind of similar to a speed through, where it's a non-1 per deck, but it's a very rare. So people just lose them in boxes and things. So if you're playing and you need, if you want to play with Callisto to play Caliban, you end up getting 3 or 4 of them in your deck, and you have to find a very difficult card to find over and over again.
So interesting is Caliban cannot be played from reserve on the special. Callisto can play Morlock specials and can play Caliban from reserve. So it's the Callisto hero specifically, who's a 6 fighting. So that's a little bit of a tougher sell. If you were backing up your 8 and you could do that, I could see that being a play.
Yeah, that makes sense. So maybe more of a gimmick deck you would be running if you're going to run that from reserve, to try to get some combo off quickly, but you're probably not going to have much of a long game if you're playing the 6 stat from reserve that's not doing.
So Marcel did something super interesting here. I know there's a judge ruling, but the Marcel is 100% right in this situation. He attacked the battle site with the teamwork. Ricky cannot use the confusion to defend that, and that allows Marcel to throw his follow-ups with the bonuses. That's an unbelievably clever play that I've never seen before.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that before either, and that's absolutely right. Yeah, the team cannot defend the battle site, so the team cannot play, like, say, a negate to negate a special attack on a battle site. The team could negate a special that hit the battle site afterwards on their turn, but not defensively. The only things that can defend a battle site are battle site activators or power cards playable by your team.
Because it sounds like they're saying he
Oh,
could use it, and that's not true.
yeah, that's definitely not true. Yeah, I think this is gonna. I don't think he's gonna finish this game until they get this ruling right, because this is basic stuff. This is not like there's no question on this one.
Yeah, there's absolutely not. And Dave will 100% know that.
Where is Dave? That was Keith, I think. You could walk out there and just finish this real quick. I think Joe's gonna resolve this real quick. we're not going to get involved in a situation where we see something that's not being discussed, but if there's a clear ruling and we know what it is, um, yeah, we're not going to let them just play incorrectly here. So is it that taken care of, Joe?
Yeah, they know. Sorry, the judges were in the other room. I'll also will let people know too if a judge call like that takes 2 minutes like it did, they will get a 2 minute extension if they go to time.
And we did add 10 minutes for the top 8, so we're playing an hour for quarters and semis and unlimited final. Is that correct?
Yep, we always do an hour for the first two playoff rounds, and then we do. Oh, that's interesting though. I don't know why. That I think is just Ricky's inexperience. He used the storm card to defend his battle site. I don't think he understood why Marcel wanted to throw it, and now he could have used that storm card to defend the 7.
Yeah, that was yeah, Marcel got lucky there and really got rewarded for his tricky play.
I think that might just be a case of Ricky not getting. Maybe he thought Marcel was going to make a run for the battle site with his deck.
Yeah, I mean, it's early in the game. Of course, Ricky is worried that he could lose his battle site, especially if Marcel just like is giving up the venture of this battle because he only ventured one anyway. Ricky could be scared that he doesn't want to like even give Marcel the hope that he could kill the battle site. Uh, um, and Ricky does have what I would appear is probably a fairly large lead in venture with the 8 power card, the 6 -4. Now he's attacking with and that 7 that's already hit and the -1. So I don't know. I mean, I agree. It's probably not a play that I think he should have made, but he might have had a reason.
Well, I think what you do in that situation is you let the 6 hit. You're still 24 points from it being KO'd. There's no spectrum. And then you see what he does with the second attack. If he throws it at the character like he did with the 7, well, now the storm card is in play.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Joe. I mean, I think that's what both of us would have done there. But all right, Stars and Garters against the 6 -4. I do like seeing him fight it out, though. I mean, it's not a huge venture, but it is still important to keep the initiative, even if it's only for one mission.
100% initiative, especially in a big teamwork deck. Like Marcel seems to be throwing a lot of teamworks. He always wants to have that initiative.
Yeah, I like Ricky's deck. It's certainly a creative idea. I am a little surprised that he can get away with not having more card advantage somehow, but not having discards like hardly ever is very valuable.
And the one thing that Ricky, it's been really great to watch the evolution of the deck because when he started playing this, I didn't really think much of it, the Iron Man version, because I'd tried to use it. But he's clearly picked up small things by playing it so much. Playing the Morlock tunnels is giving him those extra mini lockouts. It might not have quite as many defenses, but it also gives you access to vertigo for a battle, so you can shift into all the avoids. He's using these events for Might Over Mind to force him into the avoids. He's really figured out a lot of tricks to make them have to go into those avoids.
I really like the event. Yeah, that event is perfect for his deck. I mean, picture perfect. I think that event would also work extremely well with any of those teammate draw type of cards.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Anything that narrows what your opponent's going to be able to do. I mean, maybe the teammate avoid with Beyond Your Situation is already good, so you wouldn't need it. And I guess what I was saying wouldn't work because once the character's turned off, you can't use the teammate avoid. But okay. So
Wow.
Marcel's used his activator draw 3, and Ricky had the negate as his last card. That's big because now Kingpin's going to be weak the rest of the game, and that was Marcel's strongest draw 3 because of his ability to use it through many activators.
And Marcel, he can't go to either character. Ricky's got the avoid placed and he's up by 4 ventures. So Marcel knows no matter what he does here, he's not going to win that initial venture.
Ricky's got a smile on his face, that's for sure.
I mean, Marcel, if he's got something here, he clearly wants to throw it. If he's got anything that produces that win, he wants to throw it and just chew through one more of those avoids. So,
Yeah, you certainly can't let Ricky sit there with that extra avoid for next battle.
yeah,
Probably
there you go.
that's a dual 7.
Yeah, he gets the avoid, and he's going to take down this first venture.
Yep. Ricky's off to a good start. Tough first hand for Marcel, but now he gets his whole powerful squad back. So that was what Ricky was hoping to have happen with that event, and it worked out perfectly for him.
And that's always it's so tough to lose a first hand like that where you both fight it out, you end up with no placed cards at the end of it because you just come out of it and Marcel really doesn't have anything to show for it in this situation.
Yeah, I mean Marcel gambled that Ricky wasn't going to be able to stop that draw 3, and Ricky's very last card just happened to be negate.
Now, Marcel's got the draw 3 in his hand for fantastic. So he didn't give up that much venture. Oh, he's got the no energy icons can be used to attack. So I think we're going to see Marcel make a huge bet here and try to really capitalize. Now, Ricky, on the other hand, I love what I'm seeing. He is playing Little Rogue, a very commonly unused card. People don't tend to play that off the X Babies, and it's so good.
Yeah, I mean if the field is heavily a battle site field, then yeah, Little Rogue is just almost a guaranteed inclusion. But the truth is, like, even 30 to 40% anti-heroes, then it's just a dead card in all those games. And so it's tough. It's a tough decision. I think that the way the field's been this year, I think it justifies a spot.
So Marcel is placing 2 draw 3s. So Marcel is loading up. But if Ricky can get that Little Rogue in, Marcel can't go for the win. He can try to set himself up for next battle. Ricky did get no teamworks. That's something I didn't notice. Oh, Marcel drew the 11 too. That is starting to look rough for Ricky. He's facing all of the bombs in one hand.
Oh, he placed the Little Rogue. Wow, that's going to really let Marcel not overcommit to this hand. That's really going to help him.
Well, is it? I think Little Rogue affects next hand, doesn't it? It doesn't affect the current hand, does it?
I thought it was the current hand.
It is the current hand. If he
You
doesn't have that negate, he's tough. Opponent may not attack or defend with cards from the battle site for remainder of battle. One thing that's interesting that I didn't notice until I just read this card, you could still do stuff like heal from the battle site. It doesn't completely shut your site down. You just can't attack or defend.
Yeah, exactly. So he could still play the draw 3 if he still had it, or like in this particular case, he could still play the skeletal summonings through Ghost Rider to go get something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Little Rogue it is a card, right? Like, so even if it turns off one of Marcel's activators, then it's not like card advantage yet, you know? He's got to be able to turn off 2 or 3 for it to really hit hard. And in this,
What it does do though is even if it only gets the one, you know at that point what attacks are going to automatically get through. You know they're not going to be able to defend above their grid most of the time unless he uses one of his cards off the armory.
I do agree with that. Yeah, and in this particular battle, that event really saves Marcel from any like major heavy hitting attacks, probably from Ricky, because Ricky is heavily energy. But in most cases, yeah, that would shut off the defense that he's got. Can't tell how many Marcel ventured, but it's definitely a few.
It
3
looked
or
like he had
4.
it looked like he had 3, but I think he ended up going with the fourth one. So we're gonna see what Ricky draws.
Yeah, see if Ricky stays in. I'm guessing he's going to draw the cards. Let's see. No? Thinking about it? I could see him wanting to wait.
I mean, his teamwork shut down, his aid is shut down, all his activators are shut down offensively. I mean, really, I think if I'm Ricky, I'm drawing the cards, I'm just protecting my guys, and I'm just gonna try. Oh, he's got the Marauders Vertigo.
Maybe he drew the cards off screen. We didn't quite see it, catch it or something.
So that also lets him know if Marcel's not negating that, he's almost certainly not got a negate that he has access to because he knows that that's going to let him route all of his attacks over to the avoids.
But Marcel, I think, still has, a card advantage lockdown on this hand, probably.
He definitely does, but it puts you in interesting situations where, like, that two strength now that's a follow up, he's just going to shift that over and let it hit. It allows you to kind of artificially generate some of those card corrections.
So
Sorry, card advantage.
does Marcel not have a hand? Was he completely placed out? That can't. Is that possible?
I think so. He's just got three in his hand now.
Wow. Maybe Ricky is in better shape than I thought.
And Ricky's got the confusion, and I don't really think Marcel's trick makes sense to do again.
Isn't the teamwork's just shut down here, right? So
Right, correct. So that teamwork's not relevant anyway. Yeah. Well, and Ricky's going to put that out. That really takes the sting out of those draw threes too if he's not going to be able to attack or defend with any activators that he gets. I think Marcel's kind of where I am, where we're both realizing Ricky's really gotten to a much stronger version of this deck. I was surprised that he made the top eight, and I think I just really took this deck for granted.
yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell if Marcel's in trouble or not. It really depends what he draws, and how many activators he draws off his draw threes. But that little rogue's really nasty. I'm sure Marcel was hoping to get a beast negate. I don't know if Marcel's thinking about it, but Marcel can definitely play the Ghost Rider skeletal summonings to go get a beast negate to negate the little rogue. You
Now
follow all?
this, oh, sorry, just it's
He
you
can just
hate,
avoid it. Yeah.
he can avoid it, but he has the vertigo. He can also just let it hit X babies for free.
Wow. Yeah, that's even better. That was yeah.
I think that's just again Ricky's still learning, a little inexperience. He could have basically made one of the best cards in the Starjammers absolutely useless.
Yeah, that yeah, it's just inexperience, like you said. Because there's no I don't think the X babies are gonna have any other one per decks, and Beyonder could play anything else. So yeah, just move it to the X babies and let it hit.
It's okay, Ricky. When you watch your game, you're gonna hear that tip, and you're gonna remember you can do that from now on.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky has been doing excellent. Top eight, even with a few playing errors. I mean, I can't imagine how strong the deck might be if he doesn't make any mistakes here, Joe. He still might beat Marcel in this game. I mean, it's looking really good for him right now.
Well, that's the other thing too. What he's doing now. Remember too, Marcel's event has a lot less teeth because he can shift into that 7 and 8 for defense.
Right, so they're not dead cards. That said, after this battle, Ricky will have a lot harder time getting to use his avoids. Perhaps he will draw an image inducer, but he has now used his premier ways of blocking off the X babies, or forcing the attacks to Jubilee type heroes because of the event, and the Vertigo will both be gone.
He's also back to that situation we talked about where like he just doesn't have the offense. So now his best case scenario is, I believe he's got two avoids. His best case scenario is he's going to avoid the two, and he's going to hope that Marcel has to either throw the 11 or use the draw three. Well, actually, I would shift in and I would just defend the two with the 8 and then make him have to keep throwing.
Oh, avoid? Okay. That's fine. I mean, yeah, you could argue the 8 would have been better there, but I'm guessing the 8 will block something if it needs to.
Well, I think too, like again, just Ricky's game here is he's got to Marcel went big, make him pay for it, make him use all his resources too to win this hand.
Yeah, I mean, what is Marcel would need to be holding a 9 right now to not have to use that draw 3, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely Marcel doesn't have anything gets around specials. So Ricky definitely should have used that 8 for the defense. Looks like Doug Sims and Corey Sims are heading out. It was really great having them today. If you guys are listening, we will be listening to you soon on your podcast, Doug.
Yeah, guys, way to represent Ohio all the way over here in Boston. Have a safe trip home. And yeah, thanks for coming out.
I just have to say I'm really glad this is the match we put on the camera. This is such an interesting match that these guys are having.
Yeah, it's tight. It's really tight.
And he's doing it. He's firing off the other draw 3.
And this could still not be enough if he didn't get the right cards, Joe.
I mean,
With
the little rogue is in play.
That's what I mean. The teamworks are shut off. Like, I mean, he needs some power cards. He basically needs some power cards. He only needs one attack, though, right?
So he's holding a Silver Sable Avoid as his last card. He's got the 11, so he basically needs now the other thing too, and I don't know if Ricky or him will. I'm sure they'll think about it, but he's also got to discard any activators if he doesn't have a utility card underneath his battle site that they can use.
You know, the other thing is he just drew a 9 or less that he knows is unusable because Ricky doesn't have any offensive cards.
That was his last card. That was the one card he had before he played the draw 3.
Oh, I apologize. Okay, then that's fine. So
Yeah,
he
so
drew a teamwork that's unusable because of the event. Oh, there it is. Okay. So Ghost Rider can go get the Beast 9 fighting with skeletal summonings. And that would get it done.
oh,
Yeah.
yep. He's figuring it out. He's we know like to tease Marcel about him calling himself the GOAT, but he is one of the greatest of all time to play the game. And the thing I said, I just realized today, he immediately figures it out and he knows he can play that skeletal summoning. So
Man. Yeah, Ricky is he's getting his money's worth today, Joe. Question is, what's Marcel going to get? I hope he gets the 9. That's a guarantee if he gets the 9.
I don't know if he's thinking of it that way, though. I think he's going to get the negate and he's going to negate the little rogue to play another activator out of his hand. Whatever he gets, Ricky's best bet is to try to get him to use something up. Because even if he pulls the 9 and throws it, still a 9 he's not going to deal with down the road. And we know he has more of those avoids.
He needs 2 attacks, though, right? No, the 9 goes over the 8, right? That's why the 9's enough. But without the 9, he would have to have 2.
And that's why, had he blocked the 2 with the 8, he would be in a position right now where he would almost certainly have the venture.
Absolutely. I mean, Marcel does have the 2 cards, but we know one's a 9 or less, right? So we don't know what the other one is, but he couldn't. Yeah, I mean, there's still a chance that Marcel would have been able to do it. Like, he could have drawn a power card there.
It's true.
But hopefully he just got the 9. But like you said, I mean, even though Ricky's got to use a lot of his powerful cards, Marcel's really burning through his good stuff.
So that's what he did. He got the 9.
He did get... Oh, there it is. Yeah, okay.
Now, I'll be honest. If I'm Ricky, I avoid the 9. You still make him throw that 11.
Absolutely. Because right now he's forced to throw it there. Next round he could throw it at X Babies.
Well, he's got vertigo. He can do whatever he wants with it.
No, next hand, Vertigo will be gone.
Yes. He's gonna. Ricky, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. And he's gonna concede. Well,
Okay.
I mean, it's Ricky's of the mind that he wants to hold on to the avoid, but what are you gonna use the avoid on that's better than an 11?
No, but yeah, okay. So the 11 I get, but if he wants to take the 9 and keep his 8 energy, I can appreciate that. he doesn't get to trade off the 11 like guaranteed. But in this situation, like if X babies can just take that 9, it's not a big deal.
But I still think if you avoid the 9, you force him to have something else in his hand. He ended up having a 4 multi. So he would have thrown the 4 multi, the 8 would have defended it. Then you can just shift the 11 to Jubilee, who he doesn't even care if she dies. So you would have forced him to, they would have been even on cards, but Marcel would be through every Starjammers 1 per deck and the 9 for Beast.
Yeah,
And
but
the one,
he does care that Jubilee dies because he needs her inheritability, or his whole deck falls apart.
that's true. But so he could have ended up with an 11 any power on instead of the 9.
Yeah, it's one way or the other. I agree with you. I would have probably tried to get him to use the 1 per dex because Ricky's card, like the Ricky's 8 energy, could dupe coming out of the next hand. Whereas Marcel's 1 per dex or 1 per dex, and that's just it. But now Ricky's going to run into the situation where Marcel could throw that 11 at the X babies, which could kill them straight out if Ricky doesn't have a way to stop it. He probably does, but Marcel gets to go first, and he could just hope for the best and fire.
He could. I think, we had said Ricky doesn't have a way to shift into those. I think Ricky's holding on to the Beast activator. So I think he'll acrobatics the 11 and shift him right back into the at least 2 avoids I see in his hand here.
Well, it'll be a big bit of probably be a teamwork or something then going at the X babies if acrobatics comes down. But yeah, I do see that he has that. So he's certainly not losing the X babies to start the round.
The yeah, this deck that Ricky has is I love it. It's so hilarious. So he's got a Morlocks activator and a Marauders activator. So we're probably not going to see much coming off the Marauders except a couple of 7s. But I don't think he's thrown anything for Morlocks. Morlocks, he's probably running Run for the Slaughter. I'm sure he's running the 3 that can only be defended by a card with an energy icon, 3 strength. Maybe a Tar Baby and Caliban.
There's that Python hold again that we were talking about. Is underappreciated earlier.
And he's Ricky has placed the same card, Prismatic Flare. Is that what or am I getting that confused with the 7? It's the same
Jubilee.
effect. Yeah, Jubilee's pin is on her.
Yep. I assume Ricky also plays Jubilee's multi-7. I haven't seen it come out of his deck all day, but he's probably got it in there somewhere.
I'm sure he does, yeah. They're named really similar. So the 7 multi is Prismatic Flare. The pin is Plasmoid Flash.
Okay.
One thing that always makes me laugh in Overpower is they would always use the uniforms that the characters were wearing right at that time. So like Jubilee always had the really iconic like purple glasses, like yellow trench coat thing. But this game was coming out when she was in Gen X, so she always has the red outfit in all of her pictures. It's like all Daredevil's cards, he has the armor suit, even though he only wore that in the comics for a couple of years. So it always dates exactly when the game was out when I see the photos.
That's cool.
So Marcel does manage to get the negate place. That's really clutch for him. Yeah, Marcel drew a lot of heat this round. He's got Ricky did not shut down any of his teamworks. Marcel's got the big 8s to follow up the teamworks. He's got pins. He's got an 8 and an 11. He's got a negate. I think we're gonna start to see him put a lot of pressure on Ricky here.
I think Ricky went 2 though, so he's feeling pretty good about his situation, it looks like.
It'll be interesting to see if Marcel just guns for the X babies with one of the teamworks. Sometimes you see that happen because if he gets 6 more damage on him, he just needs to get 1 more color and 5 damage, and he can still take him out with power cards. The dead is dead rule it's a lot easier sometimes to get around that inherent than people realize.
Yeah, if you're careful with what you throw, teamworks and big specials, like that big 9 special to start is a good place to be at for Marcel.
Sometimes I like to just fire everything at him.
Wow.
All right,
He's
he's
just
going over
helping him
there.
out. I'm kind of surprised that he didn't go after X Babies with that teamwork.
I think we'll see Ricky use the little Jean Grey 7 here to block this. Unless he wants to count on that to generate some venture, maybe he just pops one of his avoids. Oh, he goes with the 8. Not sure I understand that when he's got a 7 any power in his hand, but maybe he just wants to get through it so he doesn't dupe.
Yeah, I guess, it's a guaranteed avoid right then, but maybe not in the future. I don't know why that he wouldn't have trouble in the future using it, but Marcel's
Well,
only got one card in his hand that could possibly block that 8 too, right? Like Ricky can easily just throw the 8.
yeah. I think at this point I'd try to make him use up the negate. I think I'd just throw the pin right at Mr. Fantastic. Or he goes same thing, goes for the jammers.
In this case, I think that Marcel can probably just take that. I don't know, maybe not because, well, yeah, he probably can because later he could negate it to save time, but I guess he's just doing it immediately. I mean, he does have both jammers cards because of the 8 on the home base, but so it was inevitable. It was just a matter of if you wanted to be able to buy a turn or not.
Well, the one thing to think about is Ricky, Marcel doesn't know this, but Ricky does have the beast in his hand. If he tried to offensively negate it, Ricky might have negated the negate.
Yeah, that's a good point, Joe. It was definitely a much safer play to play it immediately.
So he threw that on Jubilee. He's guaranteeing a lockdown of that 6. But I mean, it's a tough. I feel like you always got to go for the Beyonder. He's not getting around the avoid. I feel Ricky just lets that one hit.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that he's just taking the safe road on this one. He's like, it's going to be 1 for 1, but I think I have enough cards for 1 for 1's going to make me win, so I'm not going to take any chances.
Yeah, that's a great point. I guess, and I think he is right. If he threw it at Beyonder, I don't think he gets anything for it. So it's definitely the right call.
Yeah, because Ricky can't play that teamwork already. As of right now, he doesn't have any power cards in his hand.
And again, I think that's another really good point. Players at your and Marcel's level, I don't consider myself at that level. I've definitely gotten better, but that's the kind of calculation. You just did that on the spot. Like, okay, he's guaranteeing 1 for 1. Where I was thinking like, oh, go for the speculative. You might get big money, but you're right. Just guarantee that you're shutting down one card. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, in that particular situation, exactly. It is a powerful card, but there are downsides to it.
Marcel's doing a really good job here of keeping his powerful cards placed. So Ricky's sort of forced to stay around and deal with him. Oh, awesome. He's going to do the Caliban. We just talked about this. That's going to allow him to go through his deck and get any activator he wants. Now, we haven't seen his 1 per deck, but I'll tell you what I expect is I expect Ricky's playing Gathering Winds off Storm. If he goes
Okay.
and gets a Storm, he's probably going to be able to pull that 8 right off the top of the discard pile, which is probably why he blocked with it.
Yeah, that's a good point, Joe. If he knew he was going to be playing that Storm card, he might have needed power cards in his power pack.
He got Marcel to use the negate, and Marcel does not have a negate off Hell's Kitchen, so he knows that Storm card is not able to be stopped in this situation. Marcel gives him the 1 card off the top cut. Well, I'll say one thing. These two competitors are giving us a heck of a game round 1 in the playoffs. This has been a really interesting match and a great one to commentate on.
I'm waiting for Marcel to get to fire that big teamwork with that 8 intellect follow up from reserve there. But, with Ricky's infinite voids, it's kind of less fun because all the big hits are just the same. If it's a 3, sometimes it's the same as an 11 if it's just getting avoided.
Oh, interesting. He didn't let him. So he got the storm neutralized.
He Caliban for the storm neutralize.
Yep. So Marcel runs. He's got 4 in hand still. So Marcel is getting out of it with that huge placing advantage. Now, I think what Marcel was worried about is the reason you're not seeing him fire those teamworks quite so fast is I think he's probably just a little nervous that he's going to have the confusion in hand.
Sure. All right, this isn't just such an incredibly tight game right now.
Yeah, everyone, it's like they keep taking a step forward and a step back.
Marcel does not look happy right now. What kind of discards do we have here? Must be ugly.
Ricky doesn't look to have had any. I definitely see some avoids.
Yeah, Marcel's thinking about it, so there must be a discard that. Oh, hand activator. Is that 4 discards from Marcel? Negate, hand activate. Jeez. Wow. I don't think Ricky. Well, Ricky probably can go for the win if he wants to. I don't know if he's quite close enough to the finish line to risk that, but
I don't. And again, as a player not quite as experienced, I don't know if even with that many discards, if I can bet what he needs to bet with an 11, an 8, and an 8 placed. Unless I knew I could route him, like if I had an image inducer, maybe if I could route him through those avoids, but
he might be. I don't see an image inducer, but I can't positively tell you everything in his hand. I will say that one of the downsides to Ricky's deck is that he can only place a few of those avoids, right? So if he's got 5 or 6 of them, Marcel can get back in the game just by running away, placing some cards and running away sometimes. But in this case, even Marcel has a lot of activators, so because they duped a lot of activators, right, Joe?
yeah, absolutely.
So it's just, that's just horrible. Worst case scenario, really. But that's why you play the game, and there's a lot of time left, so this might only be 2 from Ricky. If this is only 2, this is Marcel's just praying right now, I think, in his head.
I think if you're Ricky, this is where you got to bluff. You got to do at least the 3, which he's going to do.
Okay, 3.
He's just giving him the 1, but he's putting himself in a position. So now Marcel's on his
No,
feet. He's thinking,
no, that's 2, isn't it?
no, he bet 2 from the middle, 1 from the top.
I think it's 2 from the top. Take a closer look at that, Joe.
Oh, he has gone 4, but not for the win. Or wait, is it for the win? Is that a
It
clear
is
sleeve?
for the win. It's for the win. That's a clear sleeve.
That's why Marcel got up. All right. Marcel is touching, praying to the Kingpin God. He gets 2 cards here out of this deck.
Yeah, he needs some goat love here real quick. Okay, 1 more. He's going to probably need them both. Ooh, okay, the goat comes through for him. Let's see if it's enough.
I'm curious what it is.
I think I see a fantastic 7 intellect special.
Yeah, I definitely saw that. I couldn't tell any of his other cards.
Well, we know he has a handful of activators, and then I don't know what the second card he drew was.
I didn't really get a good look in Ricky's hand either, so Marcel's trying to figure out what to bet.
Yeah, it's probably a 2 situation for Marcel, I would think.
I would think so too. I mean, I don't think he can give Ricky another card.
Got to be 2 from the top, right? I can't imagine he's like looking at his hand thinking he can win now without like while giving him cards. That seems kind of suicidal. Boys, Ricky has Marcel on the ropes. And after the last game that Marcel won against Ricky.
Well, my question is, Marcel's a really savvy player. How is he going to avoid him just stacking intellect and fighting power cards up on X babies and just generating a ton of venture and making those avoids pointless?
I don't know the answer to that. I agree. If Marcel just attacks the X babies, but in a way that he doesn't kill the X babies.
I mean, Marcel literally right now can throw the 8, the 11, and the 8 intellect all on the X babies, and they won't die. I'm sorry,
No,
they'll die once the 11 hits. That will be the kill shot. But he can throw the two 8s, and that won't be for the death.
correct. Because Ricky doesn't have a way to get the hits away from X babies right now, right?
I haven't been able to see his activators to see if he might have like a single shift off somebody.
I mean, that would help a lot for the 11, but wow, this is so tight. Well, so much for a quick top 8. Wonder how the other games are going.
Looks like he's going to play the confusion. Give Ricky a taste of his own medicine there. So that really tells us a lot of what's in his hand. So it looks like Marcel has 2 cards left, and we know it is a hand activator and a Ghost Rider activator, right? Oh no, he's got more than that. They were just stacked up. Right, because he's got the Fantastic Seven. Ricky's got a whole handful of stuff. It's just really the question is he's got 2 avoids in hand at least that I saw. How is he going to get them into the? Oh, one's the teammate avoid. Oh, he's only got 1 regular avoid in his hand. The other one's the teammate avoid.
Yeah, I see that now as well. Assuming that's correct. I mean, it is tough to see, but yeah, I believe that's correct. And if it is correct, then
I think the card right next to the Jubilee avoid is the X Babies avoid.
so we just got a little bit of an update. We saw Sean has won over Tyler. Josh has won over Greg. And the winner of this game is going to play Sean. And then in the final game, Carl has won over Dave. So it's going to be Sean, Josh, Carl, and the winner of this one. Wow, I can't say that's exactly how I would have called it, but
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. What Sean's going to keep trying to win his hometown tournament. So Marcel is going to make him discard the placed 6. Interesting call. I think he's just trying to eliminate any venture cards Ricky has. He knows he's in that situation where he's praying those are a handful of avoids, and he's just trying to get anything he can out of it.
yeah, Marcel could really go for like a +3 to venture total card right about now. I don't think he has anything like that though.
Ricky's just throwing some little hits out there now. Just a little 3 fighting.
In a battle like this, though, I do feel like he could take this card.
I kind of agree, but
I mean, just because you're losing to the 1 point already from the home base, so like you're gonna have to get a decent hit through or you can't win anyway. So unless Marcel's holding like a 1 or a 2 or something, I feel like this is just a take. Man, the GOAT is having to dig deep on this one. He's really gonna, if he pulls this out, it's gonna take everything he's got. Overcoming that 4 discards in the mid late game would be pretty impressive. Apparently, he's rubbing his chest for luck now. These cameras on the players do add another dimension. Right. Gotta figure out what Take it, Marcel. You can take it. There it is. Good man. I still can't count the number of cards, though. Like, Ricky has a huge handful of cards. I mean, Marcel's got 4 on the table, and probably 4 more. Here we. Yep. The 8's coming right after it, right at the babies, I'm sure. Looks like Ricky actually has 7 cards in his hand, from what I'm being told. Jeez. We're gonna run out of time here, even on the hour, I think, if Ricky doesn't pull this one off. This is probably going to determine the game this round, almost one way or the other.
Yeah, so Ricky lets it hit. He plays the teammate avoid to block the 8 coming across as a 9.
Okay, that's smart on Ricky's part because the teamwork, like, he wants the X babies to die in this situation. So that's a 4 going with the 6, right? And that's 1 more. So that does force Marcel to either land another hit or block it.
So now I can see. So Ricky has got a 7 energy. He just threw the 4 multi. He's got a Jubilee Avoid. He's got a negate for the X babies, and then he's got a Morlock and a Dark Beast.
Good grief. This is looking really good for Ricky.
So what Ricky was looking to do there, interestingly enough, he couldn't play the acrobatics, which that is his way to shift him into all those avoids now. So whatever Marcel throws next at the babies, he's probably going to acrobatics it. Then he's got his avoids. So this is actually going to be a tough hand for Marcel to pull off.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what's in Marcel's hand, right? Okay, well, that's a defensive special card. That helps because, yeah, he's still up on Venture now. And if Ricky could easily run out of offense,
That's true for
that
sure.
that teamwork that's landed could be enough to get it done. It's pretty hard to remove teamwork, so snap
And we're going to
bang.
see it. Yeah, snap acrobatics.
There it is. But that teamwork is already in there. Ooh, boy. Marcel's got the 7. That's not going to do him much good. There's the 11. Those are both going to get stopped by avoids. And then what are his other 2 cards?
Yeah, it's really a question of what are those other 2 cards in Marcel's hand. So Ricky's thrown the 7. Oh, looks like Marcel has a negate in hand and one of his activators. Oh, that's the hand. That's the one he discarded at the beginning, I think, right?
Did you say the hand?
I think so.
So with the hand, he would have an 8 any power, right? What else would he be playing for the hand?
I think that's who it is. I nothing else of consequence, but so the 7 hits, that puts Ricky up by quite a bit of venture. Ugh, this is a stressful one just to commentate on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Marcel really needed a power card to be able to throw through that acrobatics with the Drax Armory. But doesn't appear that he has one.
And the fact that the 11's going to get negated and he's still going to have to punch through those avoids.
I don't know what that activator can get. The 7 hit, though, that's just... I feel like that's the game. I don't know how he can get out of this if that 7 hit. Well, he can negate acrobatics, right? But he has negate for the negate, right?
No, because oh yes, he actually can negate the negate with the X baby's negate. He's got two avoids in hand at that point. Oh, this is so tight. Now this is going to be what's rough. If he negates that, Ricky can choose to negate the negate. If Ricky then throws the three off the Morlocks, Marcel does not have a way to block it. He will lose Mr. Fantastic, and he will lose that 7 special card in his hand.
Ooh. So he almost has to throw the 7 first, which is like there's just no way he's going to think to do that.
No, absolutely not. Nope. Ricky, you got
Oh,
Ricky, you have a negate in your
wow.
hand.
Wow.
He
There's a chance because of that.
Yeah, again, I think that's just a misplay.
I mean, Ricky knows the negate can work on the 11, but so what's the Morlock's card going to do? Oh, he can
Oh,
remove a hit.
interesting.
Wow. Okay. Jeez. He does have a way to remove the teamwork. Very nice.
And he doesn't know he has the 7, so that's a better play. So he cuts the adventure down. So Marcel's got nothing. He's got 11, and he's going to be able to negate that 11 when it comes across.
Marcel's got the 7 and the activator, possibly the hand 8, right?
Yeah.
So
I think not negating that negate is going to pull this out for Marcel. Yeah, I think again we said it before. This is just I think this is just that inexperience of Ricky. I think he had this.
I think Marcel's going to lose his mind when he sees the negate come out of Ricky's hand.
What just happened?
Holy moly.
Why would he negate the 7 when he knows the 11 is coming through? I'm so confused.
And the 7 was enough. It's almost like Ricky's just kind of mentally beat. I don't know.
Yeah, this even if the 7 hits, it doesn't. He could have just taken the 7. He didn't even have to defend it.
This is just an 8 that I mean, I guess he can block it, but
I mean, he has an avoid in hand.
what kind of avoid? Oh, a straight avoid, yeah. And so he can't do
Yeah,
anything. So this is gonna, wow, Marcel's gonna get this. That's so crazy. If he negates the negate on the acrobatics, Marcel loses and he's out.
yeah, he just wins the entire match.
Wow. Holy smokes.
No, Ricky, let him throw it. Just let him throw the 11.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, let him throw it. Holy moly. That's so wild.
And there's no way they'll get through a placing phase in a minute and 25 seconds.
No, they're going to have one more battle, so it's definitely not over. Ricky will have, I guess, Ricky will have four missions that he could venture next battle.
Ugh. That yeah, it does. It's just tough to see.
I mean, you know, it's a hard game. It really is. I mean, there's a group of us all watching and talking and strategizing, right? I mean, I think Ricky should see that he's supposed to not let that acrobatics go away since he's got those avoids, but,
Yeah,
practice,
I mean,
practice, practice.
yeah, definitely. When you the whole gimmick of your deck is routing those attacks, you have to just make sure they're still going through those avoids.
He's gonna
I mean,
keep getting better though.
he 100%. There's no way Marcel could have won that hand at that point.
No. No. Wow. If Marcel would have lost that hand, there would have been a new winner. Is this Ricky's highest place? Did he make a semifinal yet?
I'm not sure. I don't know what he's made and what he hasn't made. So I think this is going to be the end here. I don't see a way in Ricky's hand to route those attacks, and it looks like he's drawn about 6 of his avoids. He did get the only strength teamwork cards, which will essentially shut down any teamworks Marcel draws.
So this is going to be the last hand because they have not ventured yet.
Marcel's got a dupe 6. Ricky does not have any dupes. I want Ricky to tip his hand a little bit more because I can't tell if that's an image inducer or not. Is that an image inducer all the way by his thumb?
No, that's a card
6
from the
energy.
Marvels. Yeah.
I think it's a
No,
6 energy
fighting.
power card.
Maybe there's one more than I can see. On Ricky's end, far left end, it looked like a Marvels card with a fighting icon.
Yeah, I'm talking about next to his right.
Oh, okay. What did Marcel discard? I wasn't even paying attention. Doesn't look like he has that many cards there.
I only saw Marcel discard the 6 fighting. So Ricky's got an X-Man 7, an X-Man Street Profit, 3 Jubilee Avoids, and 8 energy. I think a level 6 energy power card, and then one more special I can't make out, but I'm just going to guess since it's from the first set. It's another Jubilee Avoid.
It usually is a Jubilee Avoid.
Actually, I can't tell if that's a Street Profit. If it's the X-Men Lockout, then that's going to be super interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the X-Man Lockout effectively does the exact same thing as all the other things he's been doing, right?
I'm pretty sure from the art I just got to blink at it's the Street Profit, though. So Ricky's doing the math of what he has to bet in order to make sure that it comes down to this hand. Marcel bet, it looks like Marcel bet 3.
No. I think those are all up top for Marcel. So Marcel, I think, has 3 in the middle, 4 in the top, is what I believe is the case. So Marcel ventured 1 from the middle. If that
Okay.
goes down, he'll have 4 from the top, minus 1 from the middle would be 3, I believe. So now Ricky is trying to figure out, what he needs to venture. So if Ricky ventures 4, he would have 5 in the top, 2 in the bottom, which would also be 3. Yeah.
And then it would go to the first tiebreaker would be survivable characters. Then the second tiebreaker would be total number of damage on characters on the board. So this is going to be a really interesting one.
So Ricky has to go all 4, assuming I'm correct that Marcel has 4 in the top. And
I think you are.
So Marcel's going for his 2 here. Man, the goat came through for him last time. He needed 2 and he got them both. Here we go. What a game. More chest rubbing.
Is everything. He's using the kingpin. He's praying to the goat.
All the mojo. Needs it all.
He keeps the first one. Okay, it looks like Marcel's kept both.
Well, Ricky.
I think we're going to see Marcel take this deck down. I don't believe that that's the lockout for X-Man, and that basically leaves about 4 unplayable cards in Ricky's hand.
Yeah, and he's going to have to kill Fantastic, because even if he wins this venture, it's going to have to go to a tiebreak on the heroes.
And I'm not sure if Ricky even knows what the tiebreakers are. You know, that's not a super common thing to tie on venture.
Yeah, he'll probably continue to attack Fantastic, though, so just do the right thing by default. Wait, is that event in play? I'm sorry, I didn't notice that.
It is. I don't think it's had any effect. He didn't place any teamwork, so.
Okay. Josh and Carl there in the background behind Marcel. They're both in the semifinals already.
Yeah, the Carl now lives in Oklahoma, so he's now part of the Oklahoma crew, and they've definitely come to represent. Is he going to bodyguard Mr. Fantastic? That would be a pretty dope move right now. Now he's going to go for the guaranteed five. You got to do that.
That's the one you can play a special card afterwards, right, Joe?
Correct.
That's really powerful in a deck with like lots of draw threes and the powerful cards that the jammers and the fantastic have, or even just stars and garters. I mean, just getting that in play with some initiative as well.
Yeah, when you've got cards like that, the little allies and the fives, just being able to do some kind of offense before your meta effect is super valuable.
Yeah, the threes are so small. The ones and threes are small, but the fives are okay.
Yeah,
The
for
fives
sure.
are really good, especially in offsuit colors.
I like to run the ones just as like whatever color I don't have any of. That way it's their Sophie's choice. If you're gonna let my like most offsuit spectrum hit, I just don't play that many of them because they do put you in a venture hole.
You'll never find one in my deck, but I understand the point of it. It does lean a lot of pressure on them because it's the offsuit color, and then everything just is danger for death. So
Well, I think it depends on your deck too. Like I'm a big proponent of them in JW decks for sure.
sure, that because of the fact that the JW is already part of a string and it's so hard to stop, that would be the best place to play one if I were to ever play one.
Throws a 6 energy. Marcel's reaching for a Daredevil activator. I think it's going to have to be the 9 or less avoid. I don't know what else would deal with that card. So he's going to 9 or less avoid the 6. Marcel currently winning by 4 venture. Also, he's got the 9 or less avoid in the back on Silver Sable. I think I think we're just watching Ricky.
Realize you can't do anything.
Yeah, just slowly. I mean, Marcel's giving him the lower cards. I think the best thing he can do is let X-Man die and just hope, although he doesn't realize he's still going to lose on tiebreakers if X-Man dies.
Yeah, it's. I think Ricky's probably toast at this point.
Yeah, it all came down to that, letting him negate the acrobatics. I mean, unless we're wrong about the mission count. Now that I'm looking, it actually looks like Marcel might only have 3 in the top.
If that's the case, then Ricky could still win it. Marcel's going to be like, "Why is Keith touching my cards?"
We have a runner going to confirm what's in the top. So Ricky's playing it kind of smart. He's not letting him build up the extra venture.
Keith and Marcel aren't the best of friends sometimes, so.
So I could tell just when he counted him. Marcel actually has 3 in the top. So if Ricky wins this hand,
It'll be enough. Yeah, and so there will be no tiebreaker. Thank you.
well, that's good to know then. So if X-Man dies and Ricky so he's throwing the 8. He already got through the 9 or less avoid. So that 8 puts Ricky up by 1. Ricky has to let X-Man die to bring all those avoids in play. But I don't think Ricky literally has another point of venture in his hand. I think we're gonna see the dual 7 come out, which is oh no, he's avoiding the 8. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is the handshake. I don't think Ricky has any other offense in his hand.
Yeah, he's gonna just drop his hand on the table here. I feel it coming. They're all the same, right?
He's got the teammate avoid, but it just doesn't
Okay.
matter.
Wow. Fantastic game,
What
gentlemen.
a great game. What a great game.
Wow. Joe, that might have been the best game we've seen on stream all year.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah, that's definitely one. Don't feel bad when you watch it again, Ricky, but definitely, this is why we have him on tape now to do some learning.
Wow. Yeah. Unbelievable deck. What a great day, Ricky. Good job. You
Yeah, I
had,
really have to say I'm really impressed with how much he can route into those avoids. It's really impressive.
I mean, he had the goat on the ropes both times they played. And this one he actually had one.
Yeah, he
So,
had the victory. He just didn't. I just don't think he's played quite enough games to math out the card count there.